Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the program Business Time. This is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And my name is William Kumwembe. In the program today, we look at prospects for the fish industry as far as growth is concerned. Malawi is grappling to make the most of the industry as it remains within its infancy stage. What needs to be done? And also in the program, we speak to Malawi Revenue Authority, MRA, board chairperson on prospects for revenue collection and its role in as far as activating activities in the economy is concerned. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. I'm William Kumwembe and this is Business Time. In our main story in the program today, Malawi remains an agrarian economy. Of course, the share of the agriculture sector to the gross domestic product has remained subdued in the past years, which has forced commentators to call on the government and other stakeholders to consider awakening what they call a sleeping giant in the agriculture sector. How? By diversifying the agriculture sector's production beyond relying on some particular crops like tobacco, which has been Malawi's main forex earner. One of the potential subsectors within the agriculture sector is the fishing industry. And if massive investment is to be done in the particular industry, the country could make the most, especially on the export market. As our journalist Sam Kalimira from Mzuzu explains, there is more that needs to be done if Malawi is to get to the desired level.
One of the setbacks of fish farming in the country is access to fish feed. On the market, farmers buy 25 kilograms of feed at around 43,000 kwacha, mostly procured in neighboring Zambia. Owing to this, many farmers have expressed concerns about the high cost of imported feed. Mzuzu Akakwacha Center Manager David Mbamba points out that effective management of a hectare of a pond can yield an average of 6 tons of fish. If sold at an average price of 4,000 kwacha per kilogram, this could be financially lucrative for farmers. Mbamba, who works with over 100 fish farmers in the northern region, said he is happy that the government, in conjunction with development partners, have bought fish feed production machines which will help to address the problem.
Actually, aquaculture will develop remarkably because now we'll be having feed available in our country. Our farmers have been buying feed from Zambia, which is very expensive. So if you have expensive feed, definitely you don't have good profit margins since you spend a lot of money paying for the feed, which is bought from outside. My 1 hectare pond, if it's well managed, assume that you are getting 6 tons. If you multiply by 4,000 per kg, as you know that fish have gone up now, the prices have gone up, it means you are getting almost 24 million from that small piece of land. You cannot plant anything from there to get the amount of money that I'm saying. So definitely aquaculture is a roadmap for economic transformation for many farmers. You know, we have a lot of land that is water lodged. We are just keeping mosquitoes there. If you can turn those particular areas into aquaculture for fish production, the country will benefit a lot and a lot of money will be collected by our farmers.
Minister of Natural Resources and Climate Change, Michael Usi, says he is impressed with the prospects of Mzuzu Aquaculture Center producing numerous fingerlings which will be distributed to farmers. Usi said if the machine is installed in the shortest period of time, it means many people will venture into fish farming, thereby helping reduce the prices of fish on the local market.
Very important development economically, because what it means that we are going to start producing more and more of our fingerlings, which are going to be distributed to other parts of the country. So as we did say in Nkatabe, that we need to stock our water bodies with fish. For that to be possible, we need these baby fishes. We need the fingerlings. And this is where the nursery is. So it is important that this center should be supported. This center should produce high quality fingerlings, so that when we send or distribute these fingerlings, they should produce high quality types of fish. Secondly, the machines that we saw are going to help us produce feed for the fish. You may have noticed that fish from Zambia is many times, I should say, cheaper than fish from Malawi. The reason or determinant factor is the feed. It is said that feed is very expensive when it's imported from Zambia. Now that we are going to produce our own feed here, that variable is taken off the equation. Therefore, it is going to be cheaper. So it is very important that we should have that factory in motion the soonest. And I'm told within 2 months we should start to operate. And also we have handed over some equipment here to farmers because their dams were destroyed by Cyclone Friday, so they need to reconstruct some of the parts of the dams. So we have those equipment that have been donated to the farmers. So in a nutshell, I would say this is where I would say this is the mitochondrion of it all. This is where things are happening, and we need to support this center.
Meanwhile, Minister Usi has instructed officials from the Department of Fisheries to stock approximately 100 dams and ponds identified by the government across the country within 6 months.
The fish industry has great potential of putting Malawi on the map in as far as fish market is concerned. We are stocking 200,000 types of fish here, jumbo and other types. In no time, there will be more than 1 million. And we have over 100 such type of dams. And when we restock all the dams with fish, we will have plenty of fish, much more than we have ever had before. And we are also thinking of restocking our rivers with various types of fish across the country. The reason is we want Malawi to be one of the biggest producers of fish in the world. We are not competing with colleagues within the SADC region or Africa. We are competing with countries on the globe. We have the human capital, we have the resources in terms of human capital, in terms of the fish fingerlings, so that we can be on the map.
The government aims at utilize or identified small water bodies such as ponds and dams for the fish industry rather than solely for irrigation purposes. According to a recent study, Malawi harvests 10,000 metric tons of fish per year, and the government is optimistic that with such initiatives, the figure would rise to about 30,000 per year by 2030.
Now, the Malawi Revenue Authority, MRA, says is systematically positioned and committed to contribute towards fostering trade in the country. This was said when the Revenue Authority was commemorating the Customs Day recently. MRA board chairperson is Kumwembe, and he caught up with our journalist from Lilongwe, Catherine Maulid.
We are celebrating International Customs Day. This is a day that is celebrated by Customs Authority all over the world, today on the 26th of January. Now, it gives the customs community time to celebrate their achievements, but also to reflect on how else, what else needs to be done for us to serve our stakeholders properly, or indeed to improve the service that we're offering to our stakeholders. So for us here in Malawi, realizing the importance of customs and the taxes in general, we thought we should honor this day, we should be part of those celebrations, because first, as MRA, we are responsible for collecting revenues on behalf of the government, which is required for the government to fund the various social services that are offered to the public. So that is number one. Number two, as MRA, we are there to also facilitate trade. So this one is also a very, very important objective or agenda for us, because Malawi has to be part of the global trade, both in terms of imports as well as in terms of exports. And perhaps for us, trade is really important, especially when we come to exports, because as you may be aware right now, our imports are more than exports. So for us to develop, we need really to be part of this global trade. And Malawi Revenue Authority has got a very, very important role to play in that space. So we are celebrating, the Customs Day, but we're also using it to reflect on MRA agenda overall. Yes, MRA for Change is a program, a culture transformation program that management initiated and has put in place. This was after recognizing or indeed acknowledging the various issues that were being raised by our stakeholders, especially the taxpayers, whether in terms of domestic trade or indeed customs and import duties. So MRA, took that responsibility seriously, in the sense that they listened to what these stakeholders said, and they put in place a program to make sure that MRA officers and indeed MRA in general behaves or conducts itself in a manner that best serves, our stakeholders. And I'm glad that this program management have done very well. It's an ongoing program, and in fact it will be a never-ending journey, because improving service is a continuous process. You never reach a peak. So I'm really, really happy and satisfied with, in fact, on behalf of the board, I should say, with the progress that management has achieved under this cultural transformation, which we refer to as MRA for Change. Yes, indeed, I was appealing to our officers to say, yes, we are doing well. For example, during the first 3 quarters, we've met our targets, but the government needs more resources. So I was encouraging them to say they should not become complacent based on what they have achieved so far, because there's a lot more they can do. If they work hard, they are dedicated, they are patriotic, they are honest, they can actually collect much more than what they have collected, but do it in a manner that our taxpayers don't feel harassed, our taxpayers feel they are fairly treated, and at the end of the day, our taxpayers will feel obliged, to pay the taxes willingly.
This is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country with me, William Kumwembe. We'll be right back. Now, the private sector remains the key driver of the economy, and players in the industry continue to lament volatility of the economy as one of the reasons behind slow growth of the sector. For instance, the manufacturing sector is projected to grow by about 4% in the year 2024. But there is more that needs to be done if the private sector is to thrive and create the necessary activity to consume more into the job market. Our journalist Kumwembe caught up with the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry Council member Sam Ngoma to find out what does the country need to do if it is to see the private sector thriving.
In general terms, we can say the manufacturing sector as a whole in Malawi is dropping. We compare with the report that the Malawi Chamber of Commerce produced the latest edition in 2023, where we have seen a drop from what was the performance in 2022 to 2023. And we're not surprised. That's the situation, because you look at the business environment. Soon it started when we had the COVID issues, and we have not fully recovered from the COVID. This is the post-COVID era, but you still see that we're still having these things hanging on. The economy is suffering. We've got no forex in the country. There are fewer problems, utility problems. So we're still not doing well as we should do. Unless, as the government, take up a deliberate policy to specifically tackle this issue in relation to the Malawi 2063 goal of industrialization, which I think should be their priority, because what is happening now, the priority is to industrialize Malawi, but the environment is not ticking to make the industries perform as it is. So they need to have deliberate policies that should help the industries to come out of this thing. I'm talking about policies where forex is provided to the industries, where fuel is directly provided to the industry. That's what is going to push the industry to do well. Otherwise, if miners start, we'll still be in the same situation. They are very right to say we need a vibrant manufacturing industry that can be producing things for export. Because when you export in and you get paid in the forex, foreign currency. So, but the issue is that industry to be in Malawi and be attracted, it has got to find the working environment, the business doing environment in Malawi very favorable. They need to have raw materials that are cheaper, which will make them have profitability. They need to have a working class that knows and has got the right skills to do it. So where does this all start from? It starts by somebody taking the bullet and saying, this is where we're going to start. And in this case, who's going to do this? It's the mother itself, which is the government. The government itself has got to come in and say, we are putting in policies that are going to be favorable to the industries for them to start doing business in Malawi and they become profitable, and encourage them to do export trade. We expect a very favorable budget that is going to encourage. What Treasury is doing and what they have always been doing is they do these consultation meetings. And all players that are of interest, MCCI, in it, have gone and given their input. If Treasury can listen to the input that is coming from the consultations that they're doing and put things in place, you'll find that Malawi will do well. Because in those consultations, people do express their willingness and what they think is the vision that the government should take in order to pull Malawi out of the situation we're in.
Now, one of the key sectors in the economy is the insurance sector, but its share or penetration in the market has remained low over the years, seen at around 3%, which is the lowest if we are to compare with peers within the SADC region. Now, there are some interventions that the sector is undertaking, including digitalizing its services and products to ensure that more are brought into the equation. I caught up with the president of the Insurance Institute of Malawi, Hastings Kabesa, to find out how the industry is positioned to, number one, contribute to the country's economy, as well as ensure growth in as far as penetration is concerned.
As we speak, I'm very positive about 2024, that as an industry, we are going to grow. At the same time, we're also looking at history, the trends coming from 2021, 2022, 2023, now graduating to 2024. The future is bright. A lot of exciting things are happening. You and I can agree, even the economy is also receiving positive news. Positive news, we just heard that the government managed to secure the ESF, the extended facility, that one which the IMF provided. That facility with the IMF provided is a positive sign to us as insurers, because it's going to spur a lot of business activities positively. And because of business activities being spurred positively, we're also expecting the insurance industry to also grow. Because when we have that facility, that means a lot of businesses are going to thrive positively. And also, as you have seen, many donors are now coming in because of that facility, IMF facility. They are coming in to support the government, to support the economy. So if we have a lot of activities going on in 2024, obviously we're also going to have a positive growth in terms of insurance industry. As an industry, we have been growing, maybe on average 10% or 15% on average from 2021 up to 2023. So I'm looking at a future that is very bright for the insurance industry. I'm looking at a future that companies operating in the insurance industry are going to register good profits. They are going to register good, huge high return gross premiums. And I'm also looking at the industry, even the human capital, because when you look at the outlook of the future of the industry, you also have to look at the human capital. People working in the insurance industry, qualified, well knowledgeable, with that knowledge being equipped on them so that they should be able also to share that knowledge with the insuring public. So, brilliant question. How do you look at 2024? I am excited. 2024 to us, if we'll be discussing in the first quarter of 2024, I'll be able to tell you that this is how we have grown as of first quarter 2024. But the interventions, the measures that the industry has put in place are so good, are so encouraging, that the future for the insurance industry is encouraging. For your information, the industry has also even introduced, these digital certificates. You are able now to get your certificates digitally. That was done in end of 2023, but now we are coming in 2024. That means we are coming full throttle. So the future, William, I can assure you that the industry is so geared, we are ready, and we are very positive that we are going to achieve high premiums as an industry.
Now, despite the optimism and amid the volatility of the economy in the recent past, you and I can agree that insurance penetration has remained very low, seen at just about 3% for quite so long. What explains the low penetration rate of the insurance industry in the country?
That's a very good observation, William. I'm happy that you've been following up the industry very well. I think you have studied the industry more than even ourselves. Somewhere around 3%, 2.5, 3%, hovering there, the penetration rate. And for your information, the penetration rates, it marks the uptake of insurance by customers in Malawi. Out of 20 million people, 2.5% insured. It's miserable. It's very small. We can do better than that. As an industry, what are we doing? We are putting in place measures. We want you to be insured. You personally, as William, we want you to be insured. We want Times Group to be insured. We want Manica, we want Bagresa, we want various banks, they should be insured. The government should be insured. When all these entities are insured, the penetration ratio will also grow. And when they are insured, that means we are building the resilience of the economy in times of economic turbulence like this one. We want them to get an insurance policy. Intervention that we are doing, we have involved various stakeholders. The regulator is also part of us. The Insurance Association of Malawi, they are part of us. The Insurance Institute of Malawi, they are part of us. Together, we are working together. We are putting in measures to make sure that the masses are aware of insurance products. Just last year, fourth quarter of last year, we had what we call Insurance Awareness Week in Mzuzu. We also had it in Lilongwe, same last year. So last year we had that Awareness Week. Why did we do that? it's one of the measures that we should bring insurance closer to the masses. We also had trainings in terms of agriculture insurance products. So we had also trainings where we had to equip insurers with training, with skills on how they can, promote agriculture insurance products. It is very important that we also do that because agriculture, we are an agri economy as Malawi, and it's very important that we should build resilience using agricultural products.
Well, that interview also brings us to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time. It's a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Till next week, bye for now.